Good evening, fellow gamers, and welcome to another episode of Stuff I Make with Grand Inquisitor Chris. Now, I'm sure that most of you people out there are just super tech savvy and spend a lot of time on the computer and everything, so when you get a computer that you want to upgrade, you probably go ahead and trade in your old one or sell your old one or just buy parts and just upgrade your old one. I, however, am one of those old-time gamers that is more interested in doing stuff in the real world, and I try to spend as little time online as I can just because there's so much stuff that I could be building and crafting. So I recently moved into a new apartment, and as part of the move I went ahead and started clearing out all the stuff that I needed to throw away, and I came across, or I didn't come across, I had 3 old computers. One of them died, and 2 of them just got to the point where they were so far behind that there was no point in trading them in, selling them off. No one would have wanted them for parts, because one of them I think had a 4 gigabyte hard drive. That's how old it was. So I went ahead and started taking them apart, looking for stuff that I could salvage, and I came across a whole slew of things. So for this particular episode of the Stuff I Make, I wanted to talk about these things like this. This is the CD DVD player off of one of them. And I took apart all of them. Anything that I get that's electronic that I am going to throw away, I don't generally throw away top-of-the-line stuff. I don't get the highest grade stuff. So I take it apart and see what I can get out of the insides for crafting. And the reason I'm showing you this particular piece is because this has a lot of stuff that, or a lot of its components that I can actually use for gaming terrain odds and ends and stuff. So let's go ahead and disassemble this and see what all kinds of stuff we can get out of it. Okay, so welcome back. After about 10 minutes worth of fidgeting, I went ahead and managed to get all the pieces apart. Broke it into the constituent parts of how I wanted to sort it. So this is a metal piece. I'm sure some of you guys out there with electronics gizmo knowledge might find some use for this, put it together with some sort of piece to make it make something motorized. I'm not a huge fan of motorizing stuff or the LEDs and stuff. Have these little springs and some rubber gasket pieces that were on it that I just really don't have a use for because they're just not anything I'm going to build with, and don't really have a use for this. Could just toss it in with the spare stuff that gets scrapped, whatever, I don't know. But these will end up being used for terrain. I'll go ahead and wash them up. The little sprockets and stuff that were here were on these, and when they put them in these, they use an industrial grease that doesn't really break down with water and can constrict the paint or stop the paint from adhering and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and hit them with a really good degreaser. Doesn't take very much work, just degreaser a little Q-tip and then wash them off with some soap and water. But these will make some great pieces for wreckage and just general terrain scrap. This was the laser lens for the writer part, and this I'm probably going to leave the way it is because it's got so many possible uses for different games. Not necessarily uses, but as an objective for if you're a 40k player, for Scutarian, Adeptus Mechanicus, or Dark Mechanicus. Something like this would be great for an STC objective. Got to have your standard template constructs somewhere, so maybe this is a database for it. Or if you're a Necron player, maybe it's part of something for the Necrons. Any number of uses. Could even be for Tau, part of the Tau communications grid. Any number of uses for this piece. Doctor Who miniatures game, pretty much anything. Could be part of an objective, could be part of a walker build or something. Got this little metal rod thing that I'm not sure what I'll use that for, but it'll be something. Got these little springs that I think would be great if you're a 40k player for like orcs or something and you want to build a custom vehicle or a walker or something. Got these little springs that you can use to add just that much more detail. And I've got all these little screws that normally, when I first started taking stuff apart, I thought this is something I'm just going to throw away. But the thing is that sometimes you have a really nice big walker or something that's a little bit awkward to fit onto the base, and it just you're kind of worried about it. So if the base is not solid, but has a little cavity underneath or something like some of the pre-made bases do, you can use this for pegging some of the larger, more awkward stuff, because the screw threads provide a really nice added surface for super glue and stuff to adhere into, so that when you peg them to the walkers or the whatever you're trying to peg, this will actually produce a greater hold for some of the heavier stuff. Now the real treasure of the whole thing is these bits, because these are the plastic gears and sprockets and stuff. Now you can find these on eBay, not necessarily this big, but the smaller ones on eBay, and they're not horribly expensive, but they can get expensive fast when you consider how tiny these are, and that you get pretty much all the same. It's just a pile of the same one. Or if you get a larger variety one, they're pretty expensive because they look deceptively large in the pictures until you like look at a tape measure and then actually get something that small and realize that you're getting a million little pieces that don't really fill up any space. But these, I go ahead and I have a little jar over somewhere that I collect these in. Still trying to find it because I just moved into the new apartment and all. But trying to find my jar that I have all these in. These little ones are nice for individual figure bases or for something like a one-off thing here and there. But doing this recycling from the computers and DVD players, CD players, VHS players, that kind of stuff, printers, scanners, these you still don't get very many of. You'll see they only have a very few here. But I'm not really worried about individual figure bases for like characters and stuff. I'm looking for stuff for terrain. And if you use these, if you go on eBay and buy these for terrain, you're going to be buying a million of them because they don't really do very much. But because I've been doing this for a few years now, or several years now, I guess, and because I don't limit it to just like a DVD, CD player thing here, where you get this nice, neat stuff, when you take apart like a scanner or a printer, you can come across larger gears, like these ones. And I think this one came out of a scanner. It was either a scanner or a printer. I'm pretty sure it was a scanner though. I don't remember where this one came out of, but I've been saving these up for quite a while. DVD players, CD players, like I said, saving them up, just waiting for the time when I'd have enough to actually do something to cast them, because I didn't want to use one on a base and then not have any more. So I went ahead and took this. This is my master. I used some green stuff to fill in the parts where I knew that the mold would where I didn't want the mold to go through, because I was afraid it would just tear off and create a problem for me during casting. So I sealed up the bottoms and stuff so that none of the mold material would leak under the gears, because some of them are actually hollowish or have a cavity on the back sides. Put them onto a double thick sheet of plasticard. This one came off when I did the mold making. Made this mold, and this is the real gem of doing this kind of computer scrapping, is that you then end up with all the gears you want. So Skitari players, Orc players, Dark Mechanicus players, any of the people playing sci-fi games that you want scrap piles, Necromunda, Inquisimunda, all of those games. Not just 40K, Doctor Who miniatures games, anything where you have use for industrial scrap piles, even the steampunk games that are coming out. I have all the gears I need. And I have a whole variety of them because the sheet that I had has a variety on it. And as you can see, this is a bunch of the larger gears. I don't really worry about casting them properly because I'm not looking for making stuff. I'm looking for terrain bits. And if I miscast them, they look really good when you paint them up and rust them up. But then I have my bags of these that are just one of each of the gears. So that these are the ones that I actually cast. They're still miscast because you're still ending up with air bubbles and stuff, or sections where it just didn't quite make it into the full cavity, which is kind of what I'm intending. But I have these that are slightly better cast so that they fit in a little better. But just wanted to show this off to you guys. Discuss the potential for scrapping some of these items, since I know a lot of us sit there and have bits boxes and collect stuff over the years. This is something I've been collecting over the years, and these are some of the things that I've been using, and you'll see some of this stuff in upcoming projects when I go ahead and start putting scrap piles and stuff together and talking about all of that. But until then, talk to you guys later. Have a good one, and if you have any comments, any questions, leave them for me at the bottom of the section. Oh yeah, I have a few extra pours that I made of the mold. Like I said, they're intentionally done kind of as mist pours, because I'm not trying to build stuff or make stuff for people to build with. I'm trying to do this as frame bits. So I have a few extra sets of those. You can find them in my Etsy shop, stuff I sell. I'll put a link to it in the video description. Talk to you guys later. Bye.